It's time for Be More Good News, and love is in the air, Baltimore style, hon. You are going to meet two Be More couples that found love in our charming city and sealed it with a kiss in true Baltimore fashion. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Way down on the shores of the Patapsco lies a singing and swinging this town I know. So have another beer, sit down, I'll tell you more. Folks work real hard, but they're doing it right. Cause when the sun goes down, they're gonna party all night. I'm talking about Baltimore.
It's Be More Good News for summer 2025, and I'm your host, Judy Templeton. Thanks for joining us. Each month, our good news reporters join us for some stories, events, programs, and people that make Baltimore so special. Make sure you like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for all the latest good news. We've got a lot of good news to share tonight, so let's get started. Let's bring in our team of good news reporters and find out what sets their hearts aflutter on this love is in the air in Baltimore. Hey, Miss Bonnie. Hey,
Hey, how you doing, hon?
You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I got some good stuff for you tonight. Boy, we got free books. We got a foam party just for kids. And we got shiny happy things and boot scooting and naked. That's two separate events.
Oh, boy.
Can't wait to hear about all that.
For sure.
We are sticking around to hear that. Hey, Desmond, what's happening?
Greetings. What's happening in my world is I've been surrounded by the love of good people, good friends, good family, good everyone, particularly on the dance floor. I have a brief little story about boot scooting. I had my first experience being in the or inside of the Cancun Cantina. I grew up not terribly far from there, or at least partially grew up not terribly far from there, but never set foot in there until a couple weeks ago. Got to
Legendary
do some
spot.
absolutely legendary
Yes,
spot,
it
right?
is.
Absolutely, right? Country and Western stuff is not really my cup of tea, but it was so awesome to get on that dance floor with some friends of mine who were having a birthday celebration and like try to keep up with the insanely athletic step in that they were doing on that floor. It was amazing.
Oh, you're making me want to go back there. Chris,
Telling you.
what's happening?
Not a lot. Enjoying the summer. You're right. Love is in the air. Lots of beautiful weddings all summer long, and the weather's been great. So, a lot to be excited about.
You got it. Okay, well, get ready because we are going to meet two rock star couples that had an amazing Baltimore celebration, sealed the deal with a kiss right here in our hometown. So, first, let's meet Valeria and Ryan. Oh my gosh, aren't they cute? Are they adorable? They just look like they belong together. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy that you all are here. And Miss Bonnie and I got a phone call asking us if we would hunt up their wedding. And quite naturally, we said, yes, when? Absolutely. Hope it's tomorrow. So we got to be part of their celebration. We got to dress as Huns, greet, meet, do trivia, do games, entertain, and meet their officiant, Elvis. But the big moment was sitting in the Natty Bow car that they had sitting right outside. That was just amazing. And they had details all over. They had placemats with trivia. It was just an amazing affair. So I'm going to stop talking about it. I want to hear about what your version of and how you both planned this so beautifully.
Well, thank you so much. What an introduction. And we are so grateful for you and Miss Bonnie for providing such just
the
such
best MCs.
Yes, it was just like the most special edition. So thank you. Our guests still talk about it to this day. So they're like the iconic Huns were there, and it was true. So we got engaged in Mexico, and I always said I wanted to get married at Nacho Mama's, and I told Ryan that on our first date. And he didn't think I was serious, but I was.
Yeah, I thought it was just something cute that she would say on a first date. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, And she didn't mean to me at that time, but as things progressed, I came to realize that I was going to get married at a Mexican restaurant. So we eventually came to figure out that the location in Baltimore and Canton was just too small for everybody we wanted to celebrate with us. So we got in touch with the Towson location and had it there.
Yeah. So we had a mix of like the Mexican theme. And then, of course, Nacho Mamas is basically a shrine to Elvis. So we hired an Elvis to marry us. And then we had a lot of Mexican Elvis combined things throughout the whole restaurant. And like lots of shakers, maracas, fun things for guests to do. We had a fortune teller there because why not? Something else to do. Lots of delicious Mexican food. Like you said, the trivia was there, like Baltimore-based trivia, and then trivia about Elvis and the day of our wedding, 20, 30, 40 years ago. What else am I missing?
These were mostly all of her crazy ideas that I kind of piggybacked on and tried to organize in a way that made it seem cohesive to our guests who were, along for the ride. We should also add that we asked that everybody dress in vintage attire. So our wedding invite said,
come thrust your pelvis. We're getting married by Elvis.
They did say that. That's not what I was trying to recall. Our instructions for the dress code were think Elvis in Mexico or JFK and Jackie O.
Yes.
So guests had a few different routes they could go. And, some people had very classic, like mid-century looks, and other people were just over the top with like
bell bottoms and wigs.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. We found that doing it that way, everyone kind of came loosened up and ready to party. So we were able to just start the party right from the second that everybody walked in the door and took their seats.
Yeah. So. We had like lots of hubcap margaritas, Natty Boh, and Blue Moon, helping everyone to loosen up as well.
So Blue Moon, the Elvis song, was kind of our song. I had it playing when I proposed to Valeria, so we kind of tied that in with the Blue Moon, the beer. And
our first dance.
It was our first dance.
Yeah. And Ryan fixed up a vintage television, like a really old one. And by hand, it was a labor of love. And we played Elvis movies, like Elvis in Mexico, and a few other things like around the restaurant and the TV that he fixed up. And we brought in 2 mid-century couches for people to sit and lounge on in there as well.
Yeah.
And then we also had a phone where people could
actually I got one.
Where people could leave us messages. So
I don't know if you can see it
after the ceremony, a real rotary phone that Ryan fixed up too.
So I made it so you could leave us a voicemail. So there's a greeting saying, "Hey, thanks for attending our wedding." Leave us a voicemail, and they got progressively funnier as the night went on.
Well, these are extra things that I hadn't even known about too. So this is super exciting.
We wanted it to be a circus so that there was no possible way you could see all the attractions.
No boredom at the wedding.
I just love it. Well, first and foremost, the truth is that there was, cliche as it may seem, the theme of our show, love in the air as soon as you went in. It really was. It was just, it was palpable, and it was absolutely wonderful. Now, all that got you all to come back to Hunfest the year after and come up and talk about your wedding, which we had told you that we hoped you could do, and we got to do that. And then I just heard that you all were in the Baltimore magazine. So everybody go get the January edition. Is that what you said?
Yeah. There's a more current edition out now, but there might be some copies lingering on newsstands. Mm-hmm. And not only that, WMAR covered our wedding. So we had a big bright light and a humongous camera straight down the aisle from us, which was a little intimidating. But it was really cool. Then in the next day, we were able to tune in and kind of recap what was a blur to us. So
right in the news.
It was great. And we didn't hire a videographer, and we ended up getting a ton of great video from our wedding. So That was very fortunate.
And first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby carriage and all that. So yeah, so now don't you have a little love drop and tell us about her and her name?
Yeah, so 6 months ago, we welcomed our first child, our daughter named Presley. Yes.
Oh,
Of course, I know, how cliche.
so apropos. Oh my gosh.
We liked it as a name, and it was, as a great tribute to our love story, and so many different things that we just thought it was a great fit.
Yeah.
Oh,
She started responding when we call her name, so she knows she's Presley now.
oh boy. Well, I love how you said you're first, so we'll see what happens next. But you are two really special people, and I'm so happy that you both found each other. And
Thank you.
being part of that kind of celebration just makes our heart sing. And yeah, so we just, I mean, we have to bring more love right now more than ever. So thank you for doing that, because you're bringing it. And so stick around, because we're going to talk to another couple and then come back together. So now let's go and meet our second couple. I feel like I'm doing the dating game kind of. And that is Melissa and Young. And they were married just in May at the, yes, you got it, Baltimore Zoo, in front of the penguins. We like to say that. It was something special, and so were they. And you will learn to know Young, if you haven't already, by his pink. You will know Melissa by her incredible smile. And they just are such a great match. And I had the honor to officiate their wedding, which I'm still high from. I really am. And it was so much love from many families, mixtures of families, alternative families, everybody's family, and friends and Baltimore people, and then topped off with the Baltimore Oriole greeting and meeting into the reception. You could have your picture, of course, taken with a penguin. There was pink. There was favors, and Melissa is an amazing crafter, and she made all kinds of things for the wedding, and little table cards, and I just can't say enough. So I guess I'm going to stop and let you all talk about, how did you plan your Baltimore wedding?
Well, we started knowing that we wanted to do our wedding in Baltimore, because Baltimore was sort of a city that meant a lot to both of us. It was the city where we spent a lot of happy adult years, and that city where we met and started our love story. So we knew that we wanted to do our wedding in Baltimore and show our friends and family the real side of the city that we just come to love so much. So that was sort of a foregone conclusion that it was going to be in Baltimore. And then we both just love animals. We have such a soft spot in our heart for animals, and our love of animals, I think, is part of what kind of brought us together and bonded us while we were dating and getting to know each other and moving in together. So the first and only place we considered to get married was the Baltimore Zoo. We love the animals. We love the zoo. We have flamingos for our chandelier.
It's like, where can we get flamingos for the wedding?
Right. Legally, where can we legally acquire flamingos for our wedding? So that left just the Baltimore Zoo, and we saw it and loved it. And so we had a bunch of options for where to get married in the zoo. And one of the options was in front of the penguin habitat. There's a courtyard, and that was an option for where to have the ceremony. So the penguin habitat happens to be around the corner from the flamingo habitat. And if you know Yang even a little bit, you know that Yang really loves flamingos.
Oh boy.
And yeah. And so the penguin habitat seemed like just the natural place for us to do our wedding. And then both of us love puns. And so having the proximity of the flamingos and getting married in front of the penguins gave rise to our wedding theme, which was
Birds of a feather.
Birds of a feather.
And Baltimore is bird town. If anything, there are orioles, there are ravens, flamingos, penguins.
Yeah.
And so it's all of that just worked out very well for the theme and for how close we all felt being in that flock together.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
it did.
we sort of expanded outward from there. We had the wedding in front of the penguin enclosure. We got penguins to come to our cocktail hour. Yang had the brilliant and also kind of insane idea to have the Baltimore Oriole come to the wedding and be our greeter. So that ended
I
up
was
being
there the day he presented it.
I initially thought it was off the wall, and then I realized it was off the wall in the best way, just like Yang, off the wall in the best way. So it ended up being a highlight for everybody to have the Oriole there greeting people. And then when they walked in, there were more penguins just there for people to greet. And kind of a funny story about the Oriole and the penguins is it turns out this isn't the first event where the zoo penguins have been in the proximity of the Baltimore Oriole. And the penguins are really afraid of the Baltimore Oriole. They just don't know what to make of this 6.5 foot tall plush bird. And so when the penguins arrived, we were told by the handler they needed to keep some distance between the penguins and the Oriole, so the penguins didn't get concerned. And sadly, the Baltimore Oriole was most looking forward to meeting the penguins. So we had to break the sad news to him that he wouldn't be able to do that in costume.
That is a great story.
Yeah. So that we had those birds. Our seat cards were flamingos kind of kissing each other. Mm-hmm. We hired a Baltimore, a Hamden florist to do our centerpieces, and she worked in pink lawn flamingos into every centerpiece, which was a great time. And then of course we had you, Judy, officiating our wedding in just like perfect Judy Huns Baltimore style. So I think we were really able to show everybody just this lovely side of Baltimore.
Yeah. It's the Baltimore love affair.
Yeah.
And that love, for each other and for our friends and our community, we wanted to highlight so much of that. And just, for anyone that came to visit from out of town, seeing Baltimore in this way, all the brilliance that it is and all the beautiful people that brought together, it was a really special moment for us to celebrate that with all of like closest friends and family.
Yeah. And it felt great too to be giving money back to Baltimore. So we were able to, we did our rehearsal dinner at Mona's in Hamden. Yep. It was just so delicious. Yes. Perfect. We had a welcome party at Fraser's on the Avenue. And then guests stayed at the Hotel Ulysses, which has flamingos as part of the decor. So all of the bed canopies have flamingos on them, and some of the nightstands have flamingos carved in wood under them. So it's just Baltimore through and through. And I think we showcased the city and hopefully gave back to the city as well.
Oh, you did. Yeah. You know what? If anybody is not feeling good or feeling down, they should play this show back and hear the stories of Valeria and Ryan and you and Young, because I was there at all of them, and now I want to go back. I'm sad they're over. Oh my gosh. Oh, well, thank you so much for telling us about that. And we're going to come back with all of us in a minute, but let's take some time here to have Miss Bonnie tell us some of these events she's talking about. And I know everybody's going to want to come to these. So go ahead, Bonnie, tell us what's happening, hon.
Okay, I'll put my little flamingo down. Jealous? Okay, now we have the Baltimore Book Thing, which is an organization that has free books for anybody who wants them. They're open at in different hours during the week. They have a website. It's bookthing.org. Now, this Sunday, they are collecting books from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And any books you have, whether you read them, you didn't read them, they're under the table so it doesn't wobble. Any books that are in good shape, bring them to the Book Thing. And that's right in Waverly. And they would just love it. They take great care of them. They catalog them, and they help you find all kinds of interesting books for free. Nice. And then we have Shiny Happy Things, and that's at the American Visionary Art Museum. Judy knows all about that. She's a docent there. And if you go to that building, the whole front of it is all glass, and it's all broken pieces of glass that are made sparkly. And the people who did that, Bob Benson and Eileen Gillen, have a workshop where you can make tiny sparkly things, decorations, and little dangle things. It's a class, a workshop from 1:30 to 4, and they teach you how to do that, and you can take home your own little dangly, shiny, happy things.
I have some. I actually made them. They're good.
And I figured you did.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And now we have Hop Fest, not Hun Fest, Hop Fest. And that's at Max's Tap House, which is a great place. It's a repository for all the beers in the world, and you get to test them. And now they have 60 hoppy beers, and they're waiting for you from 11:30 a.m. to 2 a.m. August 15th and 17th. 60 of them. So you'll have time to try them all.
Woo.
Okay. Now, I know a lot of people sort of don't drink anymore. It kind of expanded from, what do you call it in January, where you don't drink, and dry January? Well, a lot of people thought it was a good idea not to drink. And I guess, they felt better about themselves or whatever. And the world made more sense when you're not drinking so much and you don't get a hangover. So there's a place in Mount Vernon called Root City Kava Bar and Lounge. And all their drinks are non-alcoholic. And they have a special night called Nerds Night Out. And it's a comedy club show. So they have that. And on Friday, August 16th, if you want to visit at 8 p.m., they're having a comedy show. And they have laughs, vibes, and no booze required. Now, on Thursday, August 22nd, at the Creative Alliance, we're going to have some boot scooting, but they're going to have a live band. So you're going to have lots of fun there, and it's karaoke. So you can sing and dance, and it says, dress your best. It's a dance party. And then Wednesday, August 20th, there's going to be a blues dance lesson at the Polish Home Club. Now, Checker Spot Brewing, Baltimore is all about beer. I'm sorry. It seems like I got all these beer things. Stoop Storytellers are putting on a show called Naked. Told you about that. And they promise to bare body and soul and secrets. And that's August 22nd at 7 p.m. at Checker Spot. And Checker Spot is a woman-owned brewery. And all the ingredients are great because that's the only way you can make great beer. That's one of their sayings. And then we have August 21st to September 7th, the Timonium State Fair, the Maryland State Fair in Timonium. And they're going to have live performances and lots of farm animals that win prizes and all kinds of fried food and rides. I haven't been back there in a while. And on the 7th, the last day of the festival, they're going to have the Grateful Dead and Fish for Kids. That's PHISH, Fish for Kids, live. And they're going to have a giant foam party, a rock wall, a tie-dye station, and a mechanical bull for everybody. So that's all I got for tonight. I hope that's enough for you to fill out August. And I hope to see you around the neighborhood the next time. And think of all the good things that go right for you each day and count your blessings and show some love. See you next time.
Great job, Miss Bonnie. I love it all. All right, you're tuned in to Be More Good News, so don't forget to like and subscribe all of our latest good news. Visit our website at bemoregoodnews.com. And now, time for some motivational words from our very own good news reporter, Desmond. Desmond, what wisdom on love do you have for us today, my darling?
Yes, I have some bits of wisdom for whatever comes out of my mouth that may be considered wisdom. So thanks, Judy, and greetings, my fellow tantalizing cuttlefish. Good humans of the internet, remember that you are worthy of love and deserving of care. Treat yourself well and be mindful of the narratives and stories that you tell yourself and that you tend to internalize as well. Be the fount of unconditional love that you give your pets and that you give your plants. If it's good enough for your fur and leaf babies, I guarantee you it's good enough for you. You deserve grace, especially from yourself. So that's kind of my words of wisdom. For this episode, I want to talk a bit about love on the dance floor, right? So dance and music, like many parts of creativity, which infuse my life both at work and outside of work and just everything I do. Dance and music are a huge part of my life in various ways. Of late, let's say in the last couple of years, I've been making more time to go to regular dance parties and gatherings where dancing is like the main thing. Uh, I've been very much involved in shaking what my mama gave me on the dance floors of the basement of the Lithuanian Hall for Save Your Soul, right, where people spin, two awesome DJs spin vintage 45s full of old school R&B, some deep down dirty soul, right, some classic rock in there, even some fantastic Latin music. Uh, and I'd like to also go to dance parties that are quite a bit different. Like I'm a big fan of Metro Shock at the Metro at Baltimore Metro, which is a monthly dance party for like folks who are into like goth music uh, and industrial music and dark wave, where we have folks who are like darkly joyously kind of intertwined in various ways, right? Uh, and I got to experience for my first time in life, like I was mentioning at the top of the show, getting on a country and western line dancing dance floor,
Mm.
right? Which was awesome. It was super welcoming. They put up with me not knowing a daggone thing about the steps, right? I even did a couples dance with a friend of mine who was celebrating her birthday there, for her first dance for the night and stuff too. So it was super lovely. But I gotta say, like the power of movement, the kind of spiritual nature of it itself, right? You can feel it in your own self. You can feel it in the uh, the vibes, the energy, and the bodies of those you're dancing with and around, right? It is so magical and so electric when folks take your hand and just say, "Hey, come with me. What is it? I'll show you what's up," right? And being able to do the same thing for other folks is something I find very precious, and I feel very privileged to kind of live in a place where this is a thing that happens so regularly and it's so open and inviting that everyone should be able to do it as much as they can or they want. That's a beautiful thing. And I also want to highlight one more very specific dance. The dance floor at Melissa and Young's wedding was on effing fire, and
Oh,
I quite loved it. The live band they had was amazing, and like the amount of soul on that floor just set me alight. So big old thanks to them and to everyone else involved. It was fabulous.
wow, fantastic. So, yes, all right, everybody, go out, celebrate, love, and dance. I love it. Thank you, Desmond. Oh boy, and now we get to hear from our very favorite storyteller, Chris, a most popular love story from Baltimore. So I can't wait. So, Chris, what do you have for us?
Well, Judy, I feel like I should mention here, since we were all talking about our Baltimore weddings, that I had a Baltimore wedding too. My wife Jen and I got married at the Hilton Baltimore, directly across the street from Oriole Park at Camden Yards, because that's where we met. And we also had the Oriole bird at our wedding. He was a very, very popular guest. I believe he's probably on the guest list more weddings. And we've talked about some of these unique venues that we have here in our city, from the Maryland Zoo to Nacho Mamas to the Baltimore Museum of Industry. All over the city, you can turn anything into a wedding venue. But we also have some really beautiful traditional venues, some really amazing churches in our city, including the very first Roman Catholic cathedral in the United States of America. It's right across the street from the central branch of the Enoch Pratt Free Library. And if you're up there on Cathedral Street, standing outside of the Pratt Library, looking right at this basilica, you might not think it's a church, because it doesn't look like traditional cathedrals. Oftentimes we think about Gothic style architecture. We think about churches like Notre Dame and St. Patrick's in New York City. But our church here in Baltimore almost looks like a building you might find in Washington, D.C., like the Supreme or the U.S. Capitol. And that's by design. The man responsible for building that church was the very first Roman Catholic bishop in the United States. His name was Bishop John Carroll. And it was his job to build a cathedral and establish the Roman Catholic religion here in this new nation, the United States. But as enthusiastic as he was about that responsibility, he was equally enthusiastic about this country. and this revolutionary new document that we just ratified called the U.S. Constitution, complete with the Bill of Rights, giving every American citizen the right to worship as he or she saw fit. So Bishop Carroll didn't want to build a European-style church, a Gothic-style church. He wanted to build a uniquely American church. So he consulted with none other than Thomas Jefferson. Now, Thomas Jefferson was kind of busy at that time, so he recommended an architect named Benjamin Henry Latrobe, one of the most renowned and respected architects in the country at that time, responsible for many of the buildings in Washington, D.C., including the United States Capitol. The collaboration between Bishop John Carroll and Benjamin Henry Latrobe resulted in the beautiful neoclassical style basilica we have in Baltimore today, the very first Roman Catholic cathedral in the United States and a uniquely American church. Judy, back to you.
Wow. Oh boy. So can we get Valeria and Ryan and Melissa and Young back on just for a couple final words? Oh my gosh, this has just been so much fun. So here's what I want to ask each couple, okay? Just tell us whatever you want about love and the fun time you had bringing it together, sealing it with a kiss here in Baltimore. Give us some parting words. So I'll go to you, Valeria and Ryan first.
Don't be afraid to just be unique and do what makes you happy. You don't have to kind of like stick to a certain mold or be super traditional in anything, especially these days. So I say,
you're a good example of it, Jabatis. Indeed. Ryan, do you want to add to that?
So I'm not going to answer your question because I have a little Baltimore story to tell.
Okay.
So Valeria is a speech language pathologist. She works with children with autism, some of whom are nonverbal, and they use a device. It's called an AAC device. And she said to me, "This girl looks familiar," referring to Mo. So if we could get Mo on the screen, Mo, I believe you're a local influencer of sorts with your dog Tilly. Is that right?
That's so funny. Yes, when you said that Valeria was a speech language pathologist, in my head I was like, oh my gosh, I have to talk to her afterwards.
I'll let Melissa explain the rest, but so they're already connected, and so that's small.
That's small.
How about that?
We have to touch base after this.
Oh boy! All right, well, go ahead, Mo. Bring it home.
Okay. What Valeria is talking about is my dog communicates with an assistive communication device. She talks using buttons. Her name is Tilda. She's very sassy, and that sort of that underlies our love of animals. I knew Yang was the one when Tilda started talking about Yang behind his back, literally using buttons, and Yang was not put off by that at all. Like, this is the one right here. But I think the parting words I would say are, that love is it's a delight, and it is only multiplied when it's shared with your friends and family and with the city that you love also. So it was really our honor to meet each other and fall in love in Baltimore and then celebrate that love in Baltimore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to that, Young?
What more can I add except that we are just honored that we were able to do this in front of all our friends and family and swear to everyone that this was just the best place for all this to happen. Like, people wouldn't have believed us until they saw all of this go on, and it's like now now you know why I'm so in love with this woman and this city. So
absolutely, I think we all need to plan one big anniversary party. So let's start thinking. Okay,
I'm in.
I am honored to have had our very special guests, Valeria and Ryan, Melissa and Young, and of course, thanks all of you for tuning in. Our fabulous Chris, our storyteller, Desmond, our philosopher, Miss Bonnie, our comedian and concierge of Baltimore. I mean, this is all about love because we're all about love. So please make sure you like and subscribe us and be the first to know the good news here in Baltimore. So until next time, we are BeMore Good News. Spread it. Love is in the air. Let's keep bringing it.
Patapsco lies a singing his, swinging his town, I know. So have another beer, sit down, I'll tell you more. Folks work real hard, but they're doing it right. Cause when the sun goes down, they're gonna party all night. I'm talking about Baltimore.